Welcome to another episode of the Forgotten Athlete podcast. I'm here as your host, Joseph. Here is Zach. How's it going today?
Dude, man, things are going well. How about you?
Doing all right. Cannot complain. We got some good topics, I think, to talk about today. Hopefully, viewers like it. We're switching it up a bit, doing something that I haven't really seen on the media space in terms of the layout of the draft. Draft obviously is coming up, so we kind of want to keep it focused on the draft since I know a lot of you want to discuss the draft. So one of the things we're going to be focused on is breaking the draft down by what teams should do by division. Now we're only going to focus on the first two picks, but I think we kind of have a good boundary set of what we're looking at, in terms of looking at mocks, looking at projections and whatnot where people are going. So anything you want to get up top of your head? I mean, top of your head, while we got some time and then before we get into the topic. You're muted, Zach.
We're doing drafts stuff, so I'm super excited to get into the draft and seeing which division we're going to tackle by division, right?
Yeah, AFC West is first, and then I guess we can just finish the AFC, kind of like how we did the win by division earlier in the year, or I guess earlier last year,
Mm-hmm.
before the season started. So we'll just do that, kind of keep that same momentum going right there.
Yeah, works for me.
And then kind of go from there. So let's yeah, so I mean we're gonna start with the AFC West. Before we get into this, I do want to say please like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. Those viewers that we get, as well as the comments, as well as the like and subscribes, help us reach a broader audience to share this podcast with other people and other users. So share it with a friend if you have a friend. All right, let's get into the topic. So AFC West Division. We are kind of excited about this. Obviously, Zachary is an AFC West fan. He's a Chiefs fan. And there's four teams in this division: the Chiefs, Chargers, the Raiders, and then the Broncos. The Chiefs have pretty much owned this division ever since Andy Reid got there. I feel like, Broncos won it a couple times. And then Chargers won it, I think, one of the years during that time frame. But I feel like Andy Reid has owned this division ever since he's been with the Chiefs. So we're gonna start here real quick. And where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the Chiefs, or do you want to start with a team that has like a top five pick? Where do you want to start at? Because I can go
We
either
can go in
way.
draft order.
Yeah,
Draft order.
let's do draft order. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so let's start with the Chargers then. So because this is an interesting situation. Obviously, they got Harbaugh. Harbaugh kind of came in and kind of just got rid of a lot of guys who were there: Austin Eckler, Joshua Kelly, Jalen Guyton, Gerald Everett, Will Clapp, Austin Johnson, as well as Kenneth Murray, Keenan Allen. Those guys are now no longer going to be there. So there is a lot of backfield that needs to happen in this team. And they have, what is it, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven draft picks right now. Obviously, I'm not counting those compensatory picks, so they may have some of those, but just standard draft picks, they have seven of them. Starting with the first one. And that one is fifth. And I was going through this because I'm just like, I don't know if these guys should be picked at this time. But at the same token, I could see Harbaugh going this way. So here's what I did. And I want to hear your thoughts on this. I have them drafting Joel Ott because last year, Herbert got hit a lot. And Harbaugh's biggest thing is what? Protecting his quarterback, building a strong offensive line. That's been his blueprint at every single program he's been at. Starting with Stanford, went to the Niners, did the same thing. Michigan obviously had one of the top offensive line. I think he's going to build the interior. Now, obviously, there are difference in terms of what they're looking for. Like we've heard reports of the Chargers really liking a guy like Neighbors in the draft. But depending on what each team does in front of them, I think is going to carry a lot of weight in terms of what their decision is. But what do you think about just the first pick being a guy like Joe Alt or even Millie Gambers? What are your thoughts on this? What do you think the Chargers should do here?
Yeah, I think they're in pretty good position because they have a lot of holes. So really, at five, I think in an ideal world, I could see them being a trade down team. Like
Mm,
I like that's what I think would be their option one. Like, so this is a spot where I could see the Broncos moving up for a quarterback, the Raiders moving up for a quarterback, the Vikings moving up for a quarterback. One of those
yeah.
teams to try to jump, one another here. jump the Giants. It's been, whether it's fake
Important.
news or real news or smoke, the Giants drafted McCarthy. So five is a cool spot if you really think about the Chargers. They can definitely they have a lot. I mentioned they have a lot of holes, and they can use this to really help build their team with some youth, some guys that are hardball guys because they're you went over the list. They got rid of a lot of players, so huge roster turnover. I I know for fun, I think Malik Neighbors, if he's available here, would be like the fun move, right? The
Hmm.
exciting move to come in. You get a new weapon for Herbert, but it just seems so anti Harbaugh, like
Yeah, right. Like
to
he's
draft
a flashy
I'm
guy.
not- a flashy guy, yeah,
Mm.
a flashy guy here. So that doesn't really seem like him. If it's a pass catcher, even Bowers. I mean, Bowers is the guy who's another flashy player. He
Yeah,
doesn't really say he's going to come in and um, give your team an identity of physicality, but all is someone who probably fits that mold a little better. Uh, Knowing that the depth is at tackle and receiver, we're talking neighbors and we're talking all. You can easily trade down and get one of the top guys still and not have a huge drop off in talent. Really from five to where are the Vikings at now? 11. If they get that, if they do that
yeah.
pick, or the Broncos 12, Raiders 13, one of those guys, I could easily see them. You're right. Does it make sense?
No, I get what you're saying because
Yeah,
they could get a guy like Troy Fatunu or Tylese Fagu from Oregon State or from and then
yeah.
Fatunu from Washington. So they could get a guy like him, trade back, get a couple picks, maybe even get a first from, pull a Chicago Bears, pull a Hall, maybe get a receiver, But
I
no,
mean,
but
even the Giants, because
yeah,
if the Giants are really in love with McCarthy, you can still, a pick from them
yeah.
too. Like to say,
I
hey,
see what
we're
you're
getting
saying.
calls from the Vikings saying they want 1.5, come get your guy. And that would be the Niners did that to the Bears not too long ago, made them move up a spot
Yeah.
to draft Trubisky.
Trey,
So it's
yeah. No, I was gonna say
yeah, so it's
Trey Lance situation too. Like Niners traded up a whole lot to draft Trey Lance. I mean, that obviously didn't turn their favor, but they did it. So there are teams who are going to be wanting to trade up for that pick. And
yeah.
I
The
forget
only
who it
thing the
was. Go ahead.
the only thing about this year is we're coming at a time where the Panthers look like they look like the fools of the draft last
Yeah,
year, and I don't know if a team wants to be in that position. That's the
yeah,
only reason I could see a team not trading up because you don't want to, be. I don't think this is going to happen, but you don't want to be a team like the Broncos who trade up for this pick, draft McCarthy or something at 1.5. We're saying, and it turns out that he's
a
Bryce
bust.
Young and
Yeah,
you're, well, not necessarily a bust, but the Broncos they're not a quarterback away from competing. And that's what I'm saying, similar to the
yeah.
Panthers. And
I
then
see
you
what you're
trade your
saying.
future next year to do it, and you're stuck in a situation where your fan base, other
Hates you.
NFL fan bases are laughing at you, and
Yeah.
it's like, dude, we got the prize last year. Like, Bryce Young is still a diamond. Like we're building our roster. Teams are making fun of. We could have got 3 firsts for Burns, and we got a second. Like, but
Yeah, I see what you're
hey,
saying.
let's watch those second round picks turn into talent, and then everybody will shut up. That's the thing. Like, are you going to be able to, you're this 24-hour news cycle that everyone is like, it's just going to take a bold person to make a draft move this year.
Yeah, I mean, and that brings us to our point where, last week when we were talking about JJ McCarthy, now he's talking about maybe the Commanders are drafting him at 2. I mean,
Yeah,
there's just a lot of speculation going on right now where we don't know what's going to happen. And I think a lot of teams are trying to beef up their pick so they can say, "Hey, you know what? We're going to take McCarthy. What do you want to trade up for? Like, what are you willing to give
mm-hmm.
up for this guy?" And I think you're just playing hardball at this point. Like this has always happened during the time period where those top 10, those teams that select the year before, they're finally in a winning position, I guess you could say, where they feel like
Especially
they
with their
have
fan
some
base.
exactly, and
The
they and
crowd, the crowds weren't filled,
everyone,
but they're filled now,
yeah,
and that,
exactly.
that's what the
Everyone
beauty of
loves
the
them.
NFL.
Exactly, and everyone loves them. They got a high capital. Now it's time to figure out what they're gonna do with the next pick, right? So I think, yeah, I think I could see them going Joe Alt. I just don't see them
Yeah,
going.
same.
I know, I know there are
If they go
people.
receiver, if they go receiver, I think it's a doomsday. I'll say that.
I would say Nduze
Just
fits
because,
Harbaugh
just because
more.
yeah,
Yeah, I know, just
just
like
because it's that
like a
it's that
possession receiver, like kind of
yeah.
like an Anquan
Doug Baldwin
Bolden
at Stanford, and
or Doug
yeah, it's
Baldwin.
like
Yeah, yeah, he Doug
at
Baldwin at
Stanford,
Stanford. Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like just stuff like that. Like it's and
Anquan
then draft
Bolden, I
one of
was
his
thinking
other
about.
yeah, right?
Vernon
It's like something like that.
or like
But
Vernon Davis. No, Vernon Davis was before Harbaugh, I think. Yeah,
yeah,
it
he
was
was already
before.
there,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
he re energized his career, if you
Yeah,
will.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I can see Harbaugh going a lot of ways, but I definitely see them giving the interior. All right, let's go to the second round with them. They have the 37th pick. And here are some guys that are around them. I'm just gonna kind of name off some names that we could, that they could possibly draft. We got Tyler Nubin from Minnesota, who is a
Mm-hmm.
strong safety, could play both free safety, strong safety. Trop Robinson, who's an edge rusher. Xavier Worthy, Troy Franklin, um, Zach Fraser, and then also Kingsley Sumatie. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, sir. So those are the guys that are around that in that time frame. I have them going with the guy like a Troy Franklin or Xavier Worthy if they don't get neighbors, because I have them getting all. So I have them getting a receiver at this point
Funny,
where
right? We're
it's
talking
good.
physicality, and then you're saying, "Hey, they're going to get this flashy receiver."
Well, it's because this Troy Franklin is not is I don't consider Troy Franklin I don't consider Troy Franklin in the same range with Xavier Worthy or even a guy like Neighbors. The reason being is Troy Franklin is a very physical receiver. He likes to get physical with the receiver. If you watch the top of his routes,
Mm-hmm.
he's always pushing off. He's always breaking free. So he is a very possessive receiver in terms of catching ability wise, but he can also, do that break free and get loose. So I could see Troy Franklin being a better fit for the hardball culture as well as just their offense than a guy like Neighbors. That's just my opinion, though. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think depending on it's so first we'll say that we'll both go with that they went with Joe Alt to make this conversation a little better, right? Um, yeah, I feel like you gotta get a pass catcher now.
Yeah, yeah, I think pass catcher's
So I
missing.
think in a perfect world, what they're hoping probably for is someone like AD Mitchell being
Oh
available.
yeah, that's a good.
There's
That's a good.
I'm not saying but if he's there, I think the
Yeah,
Chargers run up to the podium to pick that guy. Um, but I honestly don't see the Troy Franklin fit personally. I don't see it in Worthy.
what do you say? What do you say?
So
You're
if it's a
saying
receiver,
you're saying AD Mitchell, but what if AD Mitchell's not available?
mhm. Yeah, if he's not, then I'm going. You got to get better on the pass rush too. Like Bosa, I know people love Bosa, but how many games am I getting out of him? And then
Yeah,
Khalil Mack. Um,
Khalil
I
Mack
know
had his best season
they
last
both
year.
restructured.
He had his best
He
season
had
last year.
6 sacks in one game.
I'm just saying. No, well, he had three.
I know what you
He had
mean,
6 in one game, and then he had another 3 sack game as well.
right? So
So
I'd want some depth
you
there
want some
if
more
I'm him
consistency
because
there?
right that or at least give me someone in the linebacker like
Let's see who's
Chris
available at this
Bradwell,
point. I
Chris
mean,
Baswell. I'm
there's
looking at Braden
yeah, that's
Fisk.
what I was.
I'm looking right.
There's
I'm
not a
looking
lot
at
of
Chop
guys.
Robinson. I'm looking at Jarius Robinson. Like one of these guys. I'm going
Yeah.
pass rush or linebacker
Oh,
in the
Chop
second round.
Robinson's probably a good fit.
See what I'm saying?
Big
Yeah.
Ten guy. Harbaugh's
Big
went
Ten.
against
Got
him
to
for
see
three
him.
years, so he knows about this guy.
Yeah.
That's actually a good pick. They might go with Chop Robinson. Let's fill him in. Let's say they
That's
get
what I'm
Chop
targeting. Something like
Robinson.
that.
Let's get Chop Robinson. We're gonna. I'm just putting my notes so I can kind of have it. But
I'm just thinking back
Chop
to Harbaugh Niner
Robinson
days, and they just had so many
and
guys that could pass
what
rush.
else? And Chop Robinson's good too. I think he's very underrated. I think he's undersized a little bit, but I think he's just me personally. I like his game a lot. I think he did a lot. I watched him against I mean I watched Prince State a lot because they were always on, but I watched him against Northwestern and he bought out that game. But I'm gonna put and Troy Franklin just so I can kind of have it here. All right, let's get to the
Mm-hmm.
next team. So because I do want to kind of go through this pretty generously. We're gonna do the Broncos because I think I'm gonna only focus on one pick for them because they don't have another pick after the 1.12
Crazy,
until the third round,
crazy, right?
like late third round too. So they're
Isn't
very
that wild?
unfortunate. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I would not. I would have. Sean Payton deserved $100 million or however much money, $80 million, however much money he got paid because you couldn't have paid me to do this job. Like I would not have wanted this job at all.
He
But
talked. You know, we can go with it. That's another argument.
yeah,
Let's stick with the
yeah, I
draft.
know you're gonna
Let's stick with the
say.
draft. Let's stick with the
I
draft.
know what you're saying. I
We're
know what you're
sticking with
saying.
the draft.
But okay, so here are some key free agents and also key losses that the Broncos lost. Adam Trotman, which is not a big, huge loss. Cameron Flemings, Fabian Moreau, Josie Joel. That was probably the biggest loss, I would say. Kawan Williams is another big loss. And then I think that's about it for the most part. Mike Purcell, they lost him as well. So um, they lost a lot. I have them going with
Did they bring anyone in?
so this is the thing. I don't know. No, they didn't bring anyone in, Zachary. They didn't have any money.
Oh man.
They're negative $28 million in cap space.
all
Right. They literally owe
right. All right.
the NFL money.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, they didn't bring anybody in. I mean, I'm assuming they brought in some restricted free agents like Jonathan Harris. They're keeping him in. They obviously bought him some
Okay. I was just
veteran minimum
curious
contract,
because they're.
but they didn't bring
This
any
is
like
awful.
big. They didn't bring any big name guys. So I have them going with this. May be a shocker to you, but I have them going with Latu at this pick. Now, in most mocks, he's going in late 20s.
Really?
Yes, in most mocks, he's going in late 20s. I do think he's probably the best pass rusher in this draft. I talked about it last week, and he's getting a lot of steam. A lot of media people are starting to talk
Why
about
not
him.
quarterback? You're not gonna have a quarterback?
The reason being is because here's the thing: they got a lot to work with, and
Oh, they have a whole bunch of
like you
holes.
just
Yeah.
said, like you just said, a quarterback is they're not a quarterback away. They are more than a quarterback away.
So
Where
they're gonna Raven Stidham
I would rather sit
or
them.
draft someone late.
I would rather sit them, or here's the thing: I would try to get Bo Nix in the second round. Try to draft them in the second round.
They
I
don't
don't
have
think.
They don't have a pick.
I know. Here's the thing: I would try to trade that third and fourth pick. Try to leverage it. Trade it for a second round pick so they can get in. But I
Wow.
think that's gonna be
Then you're.
this.
We said you
This is
need a
my
lot of
plan.
pieces, and we're like take away picks. It's
Okay,
counterintuitive.
okay. What would you do? What would you do here? I'm gonna hear your
What I
thoughts.
do if I'm here,
Yeah, yeah. If
I
you're
mean,
the
shot.
Broncos at 1.12, what are you doing?
I would have kept Russ, but I don't have him. So I'm trying to trade down, get more picks. I know everyone's gonna watch this, but like, all right, just trade. Zach's idea is trade down every time. But here you take the best player available, and I'm using Pro Football Focus here to give
Yeah, yeah.
a mock draft and then see who's around, right? So if you go best player available, one of my favorite players, Cooper DeJean, out of Iowa,
Yeah, he's good.
Brock
I like him a
Bowers,
lot.
Brian Murphy. These are the guys like that are listed here, and Troy Patanu, like Terry Arnold, Nate Wiggins. I don't see corner. You got Patrick Surtain, which is cool. They should try to trade him, to be honest, and try to get some draft capital. But
They
seeing
just
what
gave him an
Steve went
extension, though.
for,
They just gave him an extension.
it doesn't make sense, dude. What are they doing? I don't know what they're doing, man.
Listen,
I'm trying to help them, and it's like nothing makes sense that they're doing.
yeah, it's like you get a new account like in our job where we remember we're sales. You get a new account, and they just get a whole new champion, and then all of a sudden they're just trying to bring in a new tool, and you're trying to keep the same tool that we sell, and it's just they don't know what to do. They don't know how to use the tool. This is a screwed up situation for all parties. For us talking about it, for them trying to manage it. I wouldn't have gotten rid of Russell Wilson either. I mean,
But do you reach for Bo Nix here?
that's what I'm
I mean, he's a
saying.
quarterback, so you
I
can sell to
don't
your
I
fan
don't
base,
I don't know if you draft a quarterback
and
here.
it's
I
gonna
just
bite
don't. I
Zach.
just think all the quarterbacks are going to be gone. I think McCarthy's going to be gone. I think McDaniel's going to be gone. I think
Nix.
McCarthy's going to be gone. I think every quarterback's
We're
going
gonna
to
get to
be.
my other guy soon here.
Michael
Penix.
Penix could be the guy,
I think Penix is
but
gonna be available.
I think yeah, for sure
I
he'll be
don't think
available,
he's gonna
but
go here.
I don't think you. I don't. I mean, I got my thoughts. I don't know if I want to say it out loud, but Sean Payton has a. I think Sean Payton has a prototypical quarterback he wants, and I think guys like McCarthy fit that. If you catch my drift, I don't
So
think
we're here.
Russell
We're at
Wilson
12.
catch that drift.
I think. All right, this is. I'll be serious now. I think what they would hope. I think what they would hope is that a guy like Odunze falls, and I don't think that's gonna happen. Um,
Oh, okay, I see what you're
I think
saying.
they're hoping Neighbors falls. I think they would take a pass catcher here in the first round. I do. That's what my gut's telling me. Now, I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to try to let the board fall to them, but I don't think it's going to work. They're going to look at trading up, and they're going to see we don't have the pieces to trade up. So they're going to take best player available.
Okay, okay.
And here, I can see a home for Brock Bowers.
Let me ask you
And then you
this.
can and then you can sell. Then you can sell. I have Brock Bowers tight end, Portland Sun at receiver, running back Javonte Williams. Stidham's going to be my guy. I mean, that seems pretty okay. It doesn't seem awful.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to check to see what's the name of the receiver that they drafted last year. Marvin Mims.
Marvin Mims.
What if they tag Marvin Mims in the trade? Stick a third rounder, Marvin wins for a second round pick. I mean, I just think they gotta get back in that second round.
Mims is going to be on the team. I think, like the team I'm laying out for you, here.
Mims is
doesn't it make sense?
Mims in the locker room with Cortland Sutton and
Cortland Sutton, Mims, Bowers, Javonte Williams. Like,
yeah, but they have
this is starting to look like a team. It's not there yet, and maybe third round they could pick up one of these other quarterbacks. Like, who's going to be available in third round? Jordan Travis, maybe Spencer Rattler, Tua's little brother. Like, one of these guys who doesn't have, maybe no one's talking about, but could be pretty okay with throwing Bowers a screen, making Bowers make some runs, and all of a sudden a 2-yard pass goes for 50 yards, or down, a bomb to Cortland Sutton or Mims. Javonte Williams running the ball. Like, I think now we're starting to build a team that the fan base is going to like. Like, we can actually win, but you need pieces. They don't have pieces to compete in the division right now. And they
got rid of Justin Simmons.
They need a stud.
They got rid of Justin Simmons as well. I mean, they got rid of Justin.
I don't think you can reach for Bo Nix.
That's what I'm saying. I think 5 years from now, or even 3 years from now, when we're looking back on this draft, because how we do the redrafts and say, oh, this is who should have been picked next, and we have guys like Amon St. Brown was like a 4th round pick, and he's a 1st round pick now in a lot of people's eyes in terms of like drafting next. I think Latu is going to be a guy like that, where
take someone like that.
They're worried about his injuries. They're worried about him, him being able to play different positions. I just think there's no question this guy's going to be successful in this league, and this guy is he's going to be available at this pick. He's going to be a can't miss guy in my eyes.
I got another name. Brian Thomas.
Right, I just don't think they need a receiver.
I'm not a fan of the guy.
It's not a priority. It's not a priority position. I don't think the Broncos need to draft a receiver. I think they need to draft a staple.
I think we see the world a little differently.
Well, because here's the thing: who would you rather pay? Would you rather pay a receiver, or would you rather pay a lineman, or would you rather pay a quarterback? Like I'm talking about second contracts, right? Like, when we think of second contracts, who are those guys that are winning the Super Bowl MVP?
I think we're aligned. And the receiver's not going to win the Super Bowl MVP, maybe. Like, even though Cooper Kupp just got it. I mean, let's not act like that didn't happen. And Odell was on his way in that same game, right? So let's not act like it didn't happen. But that's beside the point. I think you got to go who you think is going to be a star, because I think the Broncos lack that right now. Cortland Sutton is a solid player, really good player. I think he was on the way to stardom, but then he, got hurt with the ACL, and he's come back awesome player still, but I don't think he can play at an elite level like the elite guys. So he's not number one. I think you need number one for whoever the guy is, the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, I can see that.
And you just don't have it. Because I don't think Bo Nix is good enough to, or any quarterback that's going to be available here is good enough to make Cortland Sutton a better player, make Marvin Mims a better player. I honestly don't see that.
Yeah, between the 4 quarterbacks, there is a huge drop off. I think. I mean,
Latu would be fine if you want to build a defensive team. That's fine. You need pieces, like what the Raiders say. They have Mahomes rules, so I mean that's fine. Do something like that where you get some pass rushers to come after Mahomes and them. But I'd be fine with that. But it's pass rush or skill player somewhere.
This is a bad situation. I mean, let's just be honest. Honestly, I would not want to be the GM of this.
Should we jump to the next pick?
Yeah, that's what
I got some fun one there.
The Raiders is next pick. They pick 1-13. Wait, after them, yeah, go for it.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, hold on. Let me start with the team needs real quick. I'm sorry. Let me start with this because
you got to do all that. Yeah.
So okay, so Raiders, they lost Josh Jacobs. They lost Austin Hooper. They lost Amik Robinson. Went to the Lions. They lost Bilal Nichols. I think he went to the Falcons. I want to say. I'm not. I don't
know where he went, but sure.
John Jenkins they lost as well. and then they lost Greg Van Roten. So those are the key losses. Obviously, they signed guys. Sorry, excuse me, I'm drawing a blank here. They
Christian
signed
Wilkins.
Christian
Come on, man.
Wilkins. I couldn't think of his
They
name,
are coming.
and I didn't have his, and I have him listed on here. They signed guy Christian Wilkins, and obviously they got Zamir White coming back, Devontae Adams coming back as well. So they have a roster, and they have Aiden O'Connell. So they have a roster. And I've been seeing different mocks. So yeah, go for it. What do you think they should do at this 1.13?
I think they have some of the pieces to win, dare I say, a Super Bowl. But before you get a Super
Oh,
Bowl, you got
okay.
to win your division. I think they're not. I don't think the world's crashing on them like the Broncos. I feel like the Broncos, they need a whole restart. I think the Raiders need a guy who can come in here and command the locker room, be a leader, and we know where his floor
Uh-oh.
is.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm going quarterback.
are you going to who I'm going? Are you?
Michael Penix. I'm saying, go. I'm
I
just
thought
saying,
you were going
this.
JJ McCarthy.
Ew, no,
I
no.
thought
I
you
need
were
a grown
turning a.
man.
I thought you were
I need a
turning a
grown
leaf.
man.
This guy
No,
said
I didn't.
Michael Penix.
I'm
Okay,
telling you, man.
go for it.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. His you want me to lose my train of thought. Michael Penix, I think, should be the
Holy
guy because
smokes,
I think he's already
that's
like
hilarious.
24, 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I
So
think it's
he's
24.
mature. He knows who he is. You don't have to wait. Like McCarthy's 21, Joseph. He's still a kid. You don't know what he's going to be at 25. You have no clue. I can tell you this, Penix, he's the most accurate thrower of the football in the draft. Yeah, I'm saying it. I think he's more accurate than all of those guys. As long as the health comes back, and he's been healthy the last 2 years, this dude's been balling at Washington. I mean, just you can't
That's true.
deny he's been doing great. He has
That's
one
true.
bad game, in the past couple of seasons here versus Michigan. I'll give you that. But
I
yeah, I
mean
think
everyone
Penix
has
is the
that game
guy.
against Michigan.
And cause I think you need someone who can again. It goes back to the selling your fan base, competing. You need a guy who can come in and manage the game. I know people are like afraid of game managers, but has a ceiling where he can help you score 3-4 touchdowns if you need it. And
Yeah.
I don't think O'Connell's the guy who could do that right now that they have. Um, he's a fine backup, right? We saw him last year. He, could win games when the offense doesn't score versus Chiefs. Like they can win games that way, which is awesome. But teams that score a little bit more points on against that defense, they struggle. And I think they need to come out of the draft with a quarterback of the future,
Yeah,
somebody
I
that
agree.
can somebody that can put up points when they need to, but also doesn't have to worry about putting the training wheels on him. I don't feel like with Penix you're gonna have training wheels. I think he's Tua 2.0, and you may not win a Super Bowl with just Tua and some strong receivers with Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. The tight end came on. Mayers came on late
Maybe,
last
yeah.
year too, right? They have a lot of
Luke Mayers, yeah.
talent things.
Second round pick, I think. Third round pick, second, third round pick
Yeah,
last year.
and I'm telling you, I think that's the guy. How am I wrong? Where are you seeing them go?
Well, I have them going a different direction, and it does involve
Defense?
it does involve a trade. Not gonna lie.
Oh, are they trading up or
I
down?
think they should trade their first round pick this year, their first round pick next year, for a top 5 pick and draft either Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy. And the reason being is for the exact reason you said what you said,
Interesting.
but
I
I
would do
think
it for
they need
Daniels. I'm not
someone
touching.
better.
Why trade up for a guy you don't know what he is? Then you got Trey Lance 2.0.
Well, okay, let me answer your first question real quick.
You
Why
don't know
trade
what
up?
McCarthy
Why trade
is.
up? Why trade up? Okay, so
You think?
okay,
Oh,
so
you think McCarthy's available at 13? Right?
I think no, I don't think McCarthy's gonna be available. I think McCarthy is gone at
Okay.
5. I think
So
he's
we're
going
saying
by 5.
trade
I
up.
think someone's gonna trade up for them. I think McCarthy's going by 5. But I think it's like this. I think that the Raiders are in a great place. They have a great defense. They have a great defensive coordinator who they just gave an extension as well as a pay increase, Patrick Graham. They have a great leader in the locker room, Devontae Adams. They have a great coach in the locker room that knows the Raider culture, knows what they're trying to bring in, Antonio Pierce. They have a good run game. They have a solid running back. I mean, solid offensive line that ranked top 10 in PFF last year. What are they missing? what were they? What were they one position behind last year from
They
making the
need big.
playoffs?
They need big
They need
plays.
they
Are you going to get big?
okay.
Are you going to
Okay,
get big plays out of McCarthy? No.
that brings our point. So no. So in this scenario, I'm saying they should trade her for Jaden Daniels. I
That's
just do.
I
I think Jaden
that
Daniels is a
I'm fine with that.
is a better pro. I think I would say McCarthy's number 3 for me. I would say Caleb Williams, I'm sorry, Jaden Daniels, and then McCarthy. I would say those are my
So
top 3
can't
quarterbacks.
the guy who can't throw the
I mean,
ball.
let's not even focus on McCarthy. I'm just saying what the Raiders should do. Like I'm saying that Jaden Daniels should be their guy. Like we can
All right.
debate about McCarthy later on, but I'm just saying that they should trade up for a guy like Jaden Daniels, trade Washington, trade I don't know the Patriots, trade some team where they can get up in that top 3 pick and get a
Well,
guy like Jaden
Daniels.
Daniels.
So you got to trade the Commanders.
I don't think Commanders are going to go Jaden Daniels. I
Think
just
they go
don't.
May?
I think they go McCarthy. I really do.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Well, we can't.
Now they're going.
Listen, we got to save that for the later episode because we got the NFC East to talk about later on down the road. We're talking about the Raiders right now, but I definitely see the Commanders not going Jaden Daniels. I just don't think he fits their pro style. I mean, like their culture, what they're trying to build. Like, I think they want you see the guys that you see the guys that they brought in. They brought in veteran guys. They brought in former division rival guys.
I don't. I strongly disagree.
Okay,
If they do something silly like that, they all. Well, that's the thing. They're gonna get fired. I've been on record as saying that I was confused. Right? I said I don't know if if McCarthy is coach only fired or if he's coach and GM fired. But I'll tell you this: if they draft McCarthy at 1.2, that is coach, GM, offensive and defense coordinator. That's the water boy, the trainers. Everybody's gone like that. Everybody. So yeah. So everyone start looking for work in a year.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying this.
Everybody's gone.
Adam Peters.
Everybody.
Adam Peters wanted Mac Jones. He didn't want Trey Lance. And Trey Lance reminds you of who in this draft? I would say Jaden Daniels. I don't think
What?
I'm talking about just the profile, strong arm,
No.
and is a dual threat quarterback.
No.
What are you
No. No.
talking
No. That's
about?
totally wrong, brother. No. No. Trey Lance came from a Division One AA
I'm
team
just talking
who
about
had 1 year
it doesn't
of
matter where
starts.
they came from.
Daniel,
It doesn't matter where they
no,
came from.
Jaden Daniels had 60 starts.
No, I'm not talking about where they came from. I'm talking about their profile, their draft profile. When you look at their draft profile, it says a dual threat
Yeah, I'm
quarterback.
telling you.
Okay, that's what
One
Trey
guy
Lance
had
was.
this many starts, one had this many
I'm
starts.
not talking about the amount of. I'm talking about their
That
their
goes
their
into the
their, their play
profile.
style. No, it doesn't. Their play style. It has nothing to do with their play style. One's a dual threat. One's not. They're both dual threat quarterbacks. They both have the
So you're
same.
just saying strictly on their you're saying strictly on Madden. You're not taking anything else into account. You're just saying their Madden rating. And or their Madden if they're improviser or whatever else Madden has. That's what
I'm
you're
just talking
going
about
off
their.
of.
I'm just talking about their play style. They're both dual threat quarterbacks. I don't think Adam Peters wants a dual threat quarterback to build around. I think he wants a guy who is a pocket passer and who can throw and who can run with his legs
Well, if
and
that's
find
the
his
case,
first
Penix is the
decision.
guy.
But Penix gets hurt, and Penix is
He
not.
hasn't gotten hurt. He hasn't gotten hurt in two
He's
years.
not a top prospect in draft class. Like we already know
I'll tell
this.
you this: he'll have a better
Penix.
he'll have a better career than McCarthy.
Okay,
I'll
I'm not
go
here
on
to
record
debate
as
this.
saying that.
I'm not here to debate this about McCarthy. I mean, we
All
can
right,
say
well let's
that for a later
continue.
time. I'm just saying what the Raiders should do, and I think the Raiders should draft a guy like Jaden Daniels. Like I said, I think they should trade up for a Jaden Daniels pick. And then they're 2.44. I think they should get a guy like Malachi Corley. I think he'll be available at that time, hopefully.
Receiver.
I think they should go receiver. I don't. I think, like I said, I think their defense is fine. I think they can get depth later on down the road. I know people are having them get like Stephondre Sweat or Braylon Trice, even guys like Cooper, even guys like Jaden Hicks. But I don't think they need any I mean, I don't think they need defenders. They might need a secondary guy,
44.
where they can get him. But I just think that Malachi Corley is going to be available at this time. He's going to be a great number 2 receiver in this league, and I think he's just a great pair with Devontae Adams. I just do. I don't think you can break up that other pair besides that.
Yeah, I think this is. I think first round. I think we agree. Quarterback something you got to look at. Second round, I think they'll go with the. Honestly, I think this is a spot where what's homeboy's name? Jonathan Brooks. I think he's someone to start looking at in the second round
I'm
because I don't
sorry,
know
I
if
missed that.
no, I'm saying the little running backs, Jonathan Brooks.
You think? Oh, that's a reach this early, but I know he's projected to go in
I
like the
think
second
I
and third
think it
round,
would be
like
look
second.
like I think it would, but just because I think the way that Pierce wants to play football is that possession game, and yeah, you have Zamir White, but what else do you have after that?
Yeah, they need a guy that is like. I mean, you got to think about where he came from the Giants, where they had Brandon Jacobs, where they had a guy who was literally who was literally untackable, if that's a word. Like you could not tackle him with just one person. You
Yeah,
know,
so I think
so
they go
and
they'll
then
go
they had
something
and then
like
they had
that.
a Mob Bradshaw, which is fits like a Zamir White profile, where like they're both kind of scat backs, but they kind of have a power back in them a little bit. All right, let's go
Yeah,
to the
or nothing's
last.
wrong with going online. By the way, too.
Yeah,
I
I
know
don't.
it's like a lot. I can see them go online too.
Yeah, I don't think there's a huge issue going defensive line or
Yeah,
offensive line at all.
yeah.
All right, let's go to the last team. Obviously, this is the best for last, I guess. The Chiefs, who won the Super Bowl last year. They
The Super Bowl
lost, or
champions.
so. I don't. I think this is not up to date the list I have, but they lost Donovan's. I'm sorry, they brought in Donovan Smith. They brought in. They
Oh,
brought
he's
back
back.
Chris Jones. Yeah, let me just double
Oh,
check.
let's go. I'll
Can you
check while
double
you're
check that?
listen. I'll check.
But
I'll check it out.
I think they brought him back. Willie Gay did not come back. Drew Tranquil did not come back. Mike Edwards did not come back. L'Jarius Sneed did not come back. So a lot of veteran guys didn't come back. But I
Donovan
think
Smith is still a free agent.
okay, perfect. Yeah, I think they should bring him
Yeah,
back. But I think guys like Drew Tranquil, Willie Gay, I would say he's probably the more irreplaceable guy because he was so fast as a linebacker and
yeah.
he's
He
so
was awesome,
cheap.
wasn't he?
Like he's not expensive. I don't know why. I think he's one of the
I miss
best
my guy.
interior linebackers in the game, personally. But they pick obviously 1.32 and then they pick 2.64, so they both have their two first picks of the draft. um I'm gonna shock you here real quick, and
What you got?
I think they go Kool-Aid McKinstry here if he's available.
Kool
If he
Aid.
gets down this far, I don't see the Chiefs passing him up. I definitely see other teams can get him in that spot, like the Lions or the Ravens. He fits the Ravens profile, honestly. I think man to man, he physical cornerback. But I think if the Chiefs can get this guy, I think they have two lockdown cornerbacks on their end. Now, there's other guys in this draft who I won't really talk down on, cornerback wise, that I don't like. Philip McKinstry though, he's the real deal. He's been balling since he was a freshman at Alabama, like true freshman. I remember him getting beat by the receiver that's in the NFL now, George Pickens, like in the SEC championship game. And I remember him picking off Stetson Bennett, so he's a guy that I think the Chiefs should target if he's available at that 1.32 spot. Obviously he may not be there. And then the second pick, I have them going Roman Wilson at 2.64 with the receiver. But we can start with the first pick, seeing what you think they should do here.
Yeah, I think the fun part of me wants them to go receiver. I know they won't do it though. I know they won't do it, which is fine. The next fun part of me wants them to go one of my favorite players, uh, Cooper Jean, Iowa, trade up for him.
Mhm.
Um, but I know better. And the team last year, um, the challenge, especially during the beginning and middle part of the year, was that Mahomes had to like flee the pocket pretty often because he
Mhm.
didn't trust his tackles. So I think that's why Donovan Smith is unsigned right now. Uh, and then Juwan Taylor got paid, so I mean you can't do nothing with him.
I mean, Javon Tiller was not
He's just
that
a cash
bad.
cow.
He was not
It
that
was just the
bad. It was just the
penalties.
penalties. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
think
that's what it was.
remember that mid year where they had that 5-0 run. They went like on a 5-game win streak. Like he didn't have any penalties. They were doing really good, and then he kind of
Mhm.
flew back in the penalty. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so I think that around the spot, looking on. my PFF draft board here, that's remaining players that are I have left. It's looking like Jordan Morgan for Arizona is the best tackle available at this spot. Now he is the 41st ranked player, so it is technically reaching. Um, but I think for the need, it's something that you got to do.
Wow. Yeah, I could see them going offensive line here. I definitely see them going second. I definitely see them going a receiver in their second or even third round pick. But for just
Sure.
their first pick overall, I think they're not trying to make a splash here. They're just trying to protect Mahomes. I could definitely see that. I could also see on the other side though, with Spags being the DC and knowing how important that defense was, them going the defensive coordinator route. I mean defensive back route. Now, obviously, Kool-Aid McKinstry, I think he's more of a reach for me just because I don't think he's going to be there at that point. But I do see that he is available in some mocks, so I just wanted to, squeeze him in there while I can because I think he's the best player available at that point. I think if the Chiefs get him, I think they got two. They got for sure one All Pro cornerback, but then they got another guy who is just as physical as McDuffie and who's just as great, with man to man coverage. So I think because I would say this, you would say this too, just as a Chiefs fan. Sneak got beat a lot last year, right? You don't think so?
Dude, come on. Why are you trying to do this?
I know that Snead only gave up one touchdown, but I don't know his. I don't. Maybe you can look up the stats for me. But I would say that Snead got beat a lot in terms of giving up a lot of yards. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
No,
wrong. Maybe
you're
I'm wrong.
wrong. You're
Okay,
wrong.
and I'll be wrong. But
The dude was a shutdown
in
corner.
terms of what I
You saw in the playoffs. Just you don't have to go Houston
I
sample
saw a
size.
guy kill.
Tyreek Hill.
Shout to
You
Khalil
remember Tyreek
Shakir.
Hill on the ground.
Shout to
You
Khalil
remember Tyreek Hill
Shakir.
on the ground.
In this, shout to Khalil Shakir for getting the touchdown on them. Shout out to you, man. We know who you are,
Great
man.
player. He's a good
You're
player.
balling. Friend of the podcast. I would say
There's nothing wrong with giving up touchdowns every once in a while.
no. I don't think there is. No, I'm saying that was his only touchdown. Like was against Shakir.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying
Yeah.
I think he gave up a lot of yards. But anyway, I just think that
And that was a crazy touchdown too.
it was.
It wasn't
But
like you're making it seem like it was a like a fade or some type of streak or he got routed somewhere. Like it was just a perfect freaking throw. Like there's two people in the world that can make that throw, and maybe one man that can make that catch.
so what do you think we do with their second pick?
Yeah, so I just ran it, and it looks like there's a great value here, but I don't think you can do it with taking Sanders from Texas. So you're looking around here. You have guys that are available, and there's one guy who's popping out, and I think this would be ideal. And then we got stocked up everywhere. Tez Walker.
Wow. Yes, yeah, and this is why I'm not a fan of them drafting a receiver early on at that first pick because even in the second round, there's a plethora of receivers. I mean, you just mentioned Tez Walker, who honestly, let's be honest, he should have he could be a first round pick if he got more games under his belt last year. Because
You know who's another name to look at? I'm while we're here. Are you familiar with Alabama's wide receivers?
you're talking about the guy, I forget his name,
Jermaine Burton.
Jermaine Burton, yeah,
Jermaine Burton.
yeah. I don't think he's gonna go in the
There's gonna
second
be
round.
draft boards. Well, I'm just telling you, Joseph. There's draft boards that are people. There's teams that are going to take him off and have taken them off of their draft boards because he has off-field issues.
Wow.
That's never stopped Andy Reid. So I'm just
Wow.
saying, if Jermaine Burton's available, I
Would
think
you
it'll
draft
be
him?
hard for the team to pass him up. Yeah, man.
I,
Come on, you have him and
yeah.
Hollywood out there. Like that's
Don't forget about. See, this is why I think they don't
no,
draft.
I'm just talking about them too. Is like a very
Yeah,
poor man's version of Tyreek Hill and
Tyreek
McCollum.
Hill.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. That the speed. You got two speed guys.
yeah. I mean,
No, I'm not comparing Hollywood to Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek
That's what I'm
Hill.
saying. I said poor version. Okay, poor man's version.
Yeah, I think they can get a lot of guys here. I think for
Yeah.
sure receivers should be their main target. Whether it be Jermaine Burton, Roman Wilson.
That'd be scary, right?
I don't know if Jermaine
I mean,
Burton
we talked
is gonna
about
get
we
reached
talked
this high,
about
though.
just we talked about last year. Well, Jordan in this he went 57 to the
Oh,
Bucks.
okay.
Um, he's a really good. He's a really good football player. He just has off field issues.
No, yeah, he's good. No, no,
He,
I'm not
you
saying
know,
that Jermaine
he
Burns is that good.
you know what he did, right?
I think he's good.
You know what he did.
I'm not too sure.
Okay, look it up after this. We don't have to talk about the man's name, but yeah. So he just has off. We'll say off field issues. We'll say. I mean, it was on field, but we'll say off field anyway. But but yeah, I think the Chiefs are gonna. That'll be the scariest case scenario because last year their biggest need was wide receiver. You saw all the drops and Tony stuff. By the way, free Tony, man. Let this man go do what he's gonna do. Um, but but then you come back this year with Hollywood, Rasheed Rice, second year in the system. You know, we're saying they might draft someone in the second round. It's looking like another Super Bowl, three in a row.
Yeah, I think second round is going to be the time where they draft a court, where they draft the receiver. I just do.
You know, I
mean,
forgot about Sky Moore.
Sky
I'm so sorry, Sky
Moore. I
Moore.
think Sky Moore is.
I'm so sorry, Sky Moore.
I would like to see Sky Moore in a
You
different
caught
place.
touchdowns, and Sky Moore. He catches touchdowns in the Super Bowl. That's all you need to know about him.
Did he catch a touchdown in this year's Super Bowl? Oh yeah, he did.
Last year.
Oh no,
last
he did.
Year.
Okay.
Last year.
I just don't think the Chiefs need to. Excuse me. I don't think the Chiefs need to really change their identity too much. I think they should. They need to just focus on Mahomes and Chris Jones winning them both sides of the football. And
I feel like you do need to get some depth though for because I know his name, but it's hard for me to say it. Menuhu, he missed time to the playoffs last year, but he was a big time edge rusher. He took the spot of Clark.
Oh,
so I think you do need to add some depth at the. They took a pass rusher last year.
Kara, what's that guy that you guys have? George. I can't say his last name. I don't know how to say his last name.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time with
George
names,
K. I know.
Yeah, let's call him K. But they took another one.
But he's good.
They took another. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, that's all we got for today in terms of the NFL draft. I don't know if you're focused on the NBA, Zachary, but your Warriors are out of the play. Oh, they're in the play-in, but they're not in the play-in. I just wanted to get quick thoughts about Steve Kerr for a second because we got some time. I just kind of wanted to just have a little rant.
Let's NBA it. Let's NBA it.
Because Steve Kerr played Steph Curry 29 minutes yesterday against a Timberwolves team who had played like 4 games in like 6 nights. He set him with 3 minutes, with 5 minutes remaining with 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. He didn't bring him back until the 5-minute mark in the fourth quarter. And they ended up losing. Steph had 31 points in 29 minutes though. And he said after the game, he was all like, hey, I don't think that we should revolve our offense around Steph Curry. We shouldn't rely on him a lot.
Can I say something?
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
But what are your thoughts of that? You think they should play Steph more?
I don't think they should play Steph more. I just don't like the idea of not revolving your offense, not being reliant on a guy who has led you to
you a Laker fan?
4 championships.
Are you a Laker fan?
Yeah.
And you guys had somebody there who led the team to 5 championships, right? And how old was he when they revolved their whole offense around him?
I mean, he was
like the same age, right?
I mean, Steph is 34, 35 right now, right?
So he was a little younger.
When Kobe was 34 or 35.
When he tore his Achilles, that's what I'm getting at.
I think that was the year he tore his Achilles.
Right? But they're in a similar spot in the standings. Now, this is before the play-in, but they were trying to get that.
They were the 6th seed. They were like the 6th.
No, they weren't, dude. Look it up. They were trash, and they were trying to get the 8th seed.
They were like
he did all that.
Okay, so no. After the All-Star break, they only lost like 2 games. You can look it up.
Tripping, man. I'm looking it up right now.
But yeah,
I was there, man. I lived it.
I don't. Oh yeah, back when you were a Laker fan. But yeah, I don't think that
this is back when I was a Kobe fan. 2012.
That was 2012, I think, or 2013. Anyways.
2013. Sorry, I'm looking at the date the article. Sorry,
that was 2013 season, right? Or 2012? 2012 and 2013.
April 12th, 2013.
Okay. Yeah, but as we're talking about this is the
right?
year the Lakers got swept by the Spurs because we didn't have Kobe in the first round. And honestly, I remember watching that game, and it was very watching. I don't think I even watched that series 'cause I knew we were gonna lose. But Lakers were seventh in the Western Conference, right? And I think I'm pretty sure after All-Star break, because this was the wasn't this a lockout year? I'm sorry, I'm tripping. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Dude, what the heck? I can't go back.
Because Kobe Bryant went crazy to just get him in the playoffs. That's why I remember it. Because he was like getting like triple doubles and stuff,
No,
and he
yeah, I
was
remember.
playing 50
No,
minutes a
he
game in
was averaging.
overtime,
He was
48
averaging.
minutes a
He was
game.
averaging like 40 a
It was
game,
something crazy. This
eight
dude was just
assists,
trying to do,
eight
but they
rebounds.
weren't locked to make the playoffs. They finished Joseph. They finished. Keep in mind, he got hurt game 80 of 82, and they finished 45 and 37, which was tied for seventh, eighth. But I guess they had the tiebreaker over the Rockets, so they made the seventh seed that year. There's
Oh, yeah,
no way in heck they were 60.
I said 6, 7 C. That's what I said. I mean, you can
Well, I,
rewind it. That's what I said. But
okay,
anyways,
and I said 7, 8. No,
I
this
don't think I
matters
don't
because
think
this is what
it
happened.
doesn't really matter because I mean between 6 and 7
No,
there's not a huge
you're
difference.
you're fighting for a playoff spot that you're just gonna be the first person to lose. That's all it means. And you sacrifice somebody's health and then their future years to just do this, to go
Yeah,
all
but
in.
okay,
Like
okay.
I
I'll take you
don't think it's
that.
a good
But then
idea.
look at the year they won the championship against the Celtics in 2022.
They were a
What?
top seed.
No, I'm talking about just the mentality overall. Like the
They
guys, if
weren't an
you
eighth seed or ninth seed or tenth
okay,
seed.
but I'm okay, but if you listen to Draymond Green, if you listen to Steph Curry, even Steve Kerr has said that that team was nothing like their other teams. They had no idea they were going to win the championship that year. They are literally saying that. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what point you're trying to make. All I'm saying is
The
that
point I'm
I
trying to
don't think
make,
that this guy. I
obviously,
don't
and
think
listeners
that
will
you.
know, the point I'm trying to make is you don't go all in to be a bottom seed. There's no point of that because you're risking. Steph just came back from a ankle injury. Why would you play him a whole bunch of minutes and then
You're
risk
not
that
paying
it
him a whole
gets
bunch of
worse
minutes.
and
You're
then he
playing.
tears his Achilles?
He only played 29 minutes yesterday.
I
Why
understand. I think
why
it's totally fine.
why wouldn't you pay him 35? What's the extra 6 minutes gonna do?
I'm sure Kobe Bryant says the same thing.
Okay, I mean you're comparing a guy who literally played 80 games to a guy who can't even play, who can barely play 70 games. I don't think Steph Curry ever played 70 games before in his career.
I mean, he's got the hardware to prove it. I mean, got a couple MVPs.
I don't know.
He's
I'm
got
just
NBA
saying.
Finals MVP now. You're a hater. You're like,
I'm
well,
not a
he
huge.
doesn't have an
No,
NBA Finals MVP. He got
I
that
love
for
Steph
you.
Curry.
Like,
I'm a Steph Curry fan. I just don't see how a coach can just willingly say, "Hey, we're not going to play my best player because we don't want to be relying on a guy." I don't see how you don't see an issue with that. Like I don't get that. I just don't
if
understand,
Steph was
especially coming
Anthony
from
Edwards' age,
especially.
if Anthony Edwards' age, all right, I get it. But Steph is old. Like,
But you see what
respectfully,
you see
he's
what
an
LeBron
old
James is
player
doing
now.
at you see LeBron James doing at 39.
Yeah, but you remember when he was Steph's age,
He
right?
was doing the
What was he
same thing.
doing? He was getting hurt too. When he first got to LA, he was getting hurt.
He got a
He was.
it was a freak injury where he
I'm just
stepped on
saying the
some
man
guy's
was
shoe
playing
and he
minutes
broke
and he was getting hurt
and he tore like an
because
ankle
he was the
tendon.
primary player. Now, if you watch the Lakers, he's not the guy every night, and now he could play these long. You're seeing him play a long time, and he also doesn't play a lot now. No, I'm not nothing
And he
against
does
him.
play a lot. He plays like 35 minutes,
No,
36
no,
minutes a game.
but yeah, but the minutes that he's playing, it's not the LeBron that we're used to when he has the ball in his hand 100% of the time. You see him do it. He's like D'Angelo Russell, take it. Anthony Davis, take it. And he just goes missing for minutes in the game. You rest during that time. Steph, when he's on the floor with the team that they have, he can't do that. They
And
don't
whose
have
fault is
anybody
that? It's
else.
Draymond's fault for punching Jordan
Yeah, because
Poole.
Jordan Poole is somebody who honestly
I'm
they
just
have to be
saying.
missed dearly because they replaced them with someone. They replaced. This is why I didn't understand. Like when the trade happened, where's the scoring coming from? You took away someone that could score 25 points a night, and you exchanged them for somebody that scores 10, even with his assist. like it just didn't make any sense for me.
Ooh,
I'm like
ooh.
you're like and then Clay, I guess maybe they were counting on Clay to score the 30 a game or something. I'm like that's
Yeah.
that's poor management, team management. Like
Yeah,
you're counting on old guys to come out there and score the way they did when they were early in their youth. And I think it's stupid. They should have traded someone. They should have tried to get someone like I hate him, but he's good at what he does. Bradley Beal. If you're going to trade Jordan Poole, try to get someone like that. Like it
yeah.
just didn't make sense.
Yeah, I think they are
They
in a
made a
loss.
series of moves since, and I know it's crazy to think they won a Super finals
Yeah, but since I
after
know
this,
you're gonna say, but since
but
Kevin
they
Durant,
failed ever since Kevin Durant. They
man.
failed a lot. They failed a lot. This has been a failing organization. Like Wiseman, I don't understand why they gave up on Wiseman.
Well,
Like
now he's
we
doing. I
know
mean, now he's turning into a
big
guy where he's getting.
dude. You're
I think
you're
that night he had
telling
like 25 and 16 the other night.
Joseph,
Granted, it's on the
big
Pistons,
big
but
players. I'm just saying, big players.
they take a
They
long.
take a little longer to develop.
I mean, you could
They're
just
going against
look
guys
at
that are
Embiid.
7 feet, 285 pounds, 30 years old. That's who they're guarding from day one.
No, I agree.
Like
I
it's
agree.
it's a different. You have to get your body up to that.
I
You
think
can't
Wiseman's
just
going to
be,
be a.
James Wiseman, 6'10", 240 pounds. Like this guy, he's stronger than you. He's
Yeah.
older. He's wiser than you. Like out in the post, it's a different game than it is on the perimeter. You got to be what's the word? Savvy to score in the post in the NBA. Like you see
Yeah.
Jokic, just subtle like elbows get you open a little bit. Like it's not an offensive foul, like, but it's there's movement down
Yeah,
there
yeah.
that
Well,
you have to
Embiid does a.
learn that
Embiid's
stuff.
probably the best
And
at it, honestly. I would say.
yeah, just subtle stuff that it does
Wimby.
that
You watch Wimby though. Wimby is he's a because he's actually pretty good down close, down low in the post. Like I'm
he can
impressed
do it a
when I
little
watch
bit.
him.
Yeah,
I mean,
he can do
he's
it a little
not at
bit.
the level of Jokic, obviously, in
No,
Embiid,
no,
like you're
I hear
saying,
you.
but
He can do it a
he
little bit,
he makes moves
but
that I'm all
it's
like,
different.
I've
You're
never
not
seen that
gonna. You're
before. I haven't seen that since Hakeem
it,
Olajuwon.
it's just stupid. Like it's just like some guys, Joseph, are more natural at it, and maybe Wiminyana, Yama, whatever his name is.
Wimby
Maybe
Yama,
he's a little
yeah,
better at it,
yeah,
which is awesome. Which is why he's mentioned with names like LeBron, Duncan, those guys' names,
yeah.
right? And Wiseman was never mentioned with those names, right? He was supposed to be somebody that was a good player, but he was never seen as one of those types.
Yeah.
So sure, I expect Victor to maybe have that a little bit more savviness down there at the post than Wiseman. Wiseman's gonna have to really develop his game to get there. But they should have known that. These idiots thought he could just come and play and be a superstar right away. Like where is that? Show me that.
Well,
I
I
want to. I
I
have.
think
I've never seen it. Embiid, he was out his first year. Heck, athleticism. Blake Griffin, he was a dunker and stuff, but you didn't see him really get going until his second year, right? And he was somebody who has extreme athleticism, but he even played the four. He didn't play the five. He had DeAndre Jordan. Can you imagine if he
yeah.
had to play the five? They say, "Hey, play the five, Blake." He probably would have been lost.
I think what you're seeing with James Wiseman is the perfect example of giving up on a guy too early and trying to win now. Obviously, they won a championship. I think they won a right the year that they traded him. I want to say.
They they should have traded the pick if they wanted to win now.
Yeah,
I'm freezing up.
yeah, I know. I see that. All right. Well, I guess time is up. I guess we're saying. But yeah, guys, thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in. Like as always, like, subscribe. I was gonna ask you who you think is gonna be the finals prediction, but we can talk about that next time. All right, Zach.